All right, well, welcome. We're going to learn today how to make a felt unicorn. If you picked up your kit from the library, it has all the things that you'll need, and I'll show you everything that's in here. I am Karen here at the library. The kids know me as Miss Karen, and I started making these felt finger puppets for the virtual story times that I've been doing since the pandemic. So that's a close-up of what we're going to make today. Here's another version of it right here. And you guys, these allow a lot of personalization, so feel free to make these your own. In your kit, you've got some felt, you've got some little accessories, these little flowers. I've got these little flowers and some buttons that you'll want. There's some buttons there. And we've got various felts. So you just need scrap felts. I gave you a variety of colors. You can choose the colors that you like the best. The base of our unicorn is going to be kind of this ivory white, and its mane is going to be this lavender color. And you have a little piece of gold to make his horn. So I've also given you in your kit a pattern here, and hopefully you've cut this out already. This is going to be the pattern for all the pieces that we're going to use for the unicorn. We're going to start this unicorn by cutting out its body. So you're going to need your body piece. Let me put all my pattern pieces over here. All right, so for this, you're going to want to grab of your own supplies. You're going to need just a pen that you can draw with and a pair of scissors that will cut fabric. In your kit, you're also going to have some glue and a marker, but we'll use those later. So we're going to start off by tracing this unicorn onto our felt. I like to line him up here at the bottom so that that's just one less cut that I have to make. And I'm really all about conserving my felt so I can use the scraps for other things. So I'm going to move him right as far close to the edge as I can. And then I'm just going to take this pen and kind of lightly trace my pattern here onto the felt. Just like this. And you can see how it made that outline for me, and that's going to be easy for us to cut. If you can see that, that's going to be easy for us to cut. I'm just going to kind of cut generally around him like this because we're going to need two of these. And so I find it easier to make sure that they match by kind of cutting him out and then putting him back on the felt. And then when I cut out, I'll have two layers all together. So we're going to cut two layers, and if it makes it easier, cut this again so you don't have that floppy fabric hanging around. And then you can put that to the side. And we're ready to cut out our unicorn. So we're just going to cut him out along that line. I like to try to go kind of on the inside of the line so I don't get that ink showing, because inevitably you're going to have a little ink on the edge there. But we're going to cut around him, around his ears. This is kind of a fat, cartoony little unicorn. He's really cute, and he's extra big so that you can put two fingers in him, which makes him a lot easier to manipulate when you're using him and playing with him. Okay, we're almost all the way cutting out. Now, as you can see, as you cut, you're going to get a little shift in your fabric, so that's not totally even, but that's okay. We just take a little snip and cut him, and now he's totally even, and we've got the two layers there. So we're going to set those aside, and we're going to make cut out the next pieces that we need. The next thing that we're going to want to cut out is his horn out of this gold fabric. Super, super fun felt that I found. Shiny. Who doesn't like shiny? This horn is kind of fat. If you don't love a fat horn, you make it thin, you make it work for you. But again, I'm just going to trace that here onto my felt and cut out that horn. So here we go. And I traced onto the back. That's a much easier place to make your marks. Also, they won't show as much if we have a little ink showing on the back. But there's our little unicorn horn. Now, normally I like to sew these, but glue works just as good, and it's a little less complicated. So we're going to glue today. And we're going to take our glue. You have this little glue in your kit. This is a craft glue, so it's a little bit thicker than an Elmer's glue, and it works really great. You will have to cut the tip off. I've already done that. And then just along the outside, not along this, avoid the bottom edge, but along the outside of your unicorn, just a thin little layer of glue. I'll put this on and then I'll bring it close so you can see. Make sure to get his ears. And this glue works really good and holds really tight and fast. In fact, if you want to pull him apart later, it probably won't be as very successful. Let's show you a little bit how that looks. See how I've got that glue all around him. Now, before we glue the top one on, we want to get his horn in there. So we're going to put that right there on top of that glue, but it leaves this part unsealed. So now a little bit more glue over the top of that horn so it will stick to the top layer. And then line him up. I don't know why he's a him, but he's a him today. And I'm going to glue him all together. Now at this point he's still a little malleable, so take him and kind of squish him together. If you get any glue, kind of run it along that edge with your finger. Make sure his ears are stuck together, but you just stick them all the way together. There's a little extra glue there, so I'm just going to run my finger along, kind of smear that glue, and it'll hold him together a little bit better. And there we go. He's all ready, and he will dry while we continue to work on him. So he's looking good. So now we're going to want to make his mane and his little forelock that goes on top of, up in front of his mane. So for this, we're going to use this lavender felt. And so I've got my pattern for the mane and my pattern for his little forelock that goes on top. So we're going to kind of position those both on here and make sure they both fit. So we've got both of them there, they both fit. And again, just take your pen and trace around him. And then we get to cut him out. If you have other felt that you are using, use whatever colors you love. This is just the colors that I chose, but I think any rainbow, or you can be even creative and try to make him rainbowy by piecing him together. So many options. And then cut along your lines. This does not have to be perfect. If I don't get it perfect, I never worry about it because he's supposed to look unique and like himself. So sometimes he just doesn't want to be perfect like the pattern, and that is okay. Okay, so we've got his little mane. Now let's cut out his forelock. I think that's what you call it. Oh good, I haven't been around horses enough, but my grandpa had a ranch, so I think that's what you call it. All right, so there we go, and you can see we've got a little ink showing, so I'll probably flip it so it's that direction so that that ink that's showing right there won't show up. So if you have a little ink showing on your mane or your tail, just flip it. It works. So this unicorn, I've got his mane going this way, but since I decided to flip him because of the ink, I'm going to have his mane going this direction on this one. And then his little forelock will go there. So to line up the mane, I go to the back of him. This is a fun puppet because he has a lot of details on the back. And I'm going to line that top up right there behind his horn. So we're going to use a little glue right there on him and just glue that right there. Now don't worry if there's spillage, again just use your finger and rub it in. Now that he is kind of locked into there, I'm going to run just a tiny bit of glue right down the middle here. Oops, we're kind of running low. There we go. And then just stick him down. It leaves the sides kind of flexible, but manes are supposed to be flowy, so that's okay. And when you flip him over, you can see we've got a little bit of it showing. And then his forelock is going to go right here on top of his head. So I'm going to put some glue underneath his horn. And I got it a little everywhere, so I'm going to use my finger. And then glue on his hair. So there we go. He's looking pretty good so far. But he needs a face. So we're going to make his little nose. Now you guys can choose. I did one where I chose to use the same color. Oh, same color. I chose one where I did the same color of nose. On this one, I chose to do a different color. I did it in pink. So you have all your colors here, and you have your leftover scrap of white. Choose whatever color that you want to make his nose for this. I think for this one, I'm going to make his nose blue. So we're going to change it up this time, but choose the favorite color. And then on your patterns, there's a little nose pattern. Kind of looks a little bit like a pig nose, but I just think it makes them kind of fun. So trace that pattern onto your felt and cut out his cute little nose. This one, my nose is kind of big, so if you want to size it a little smaller, just cut it out a little bit smaller. Make it whatever works for you. There's our cute little nose. See how I've got kind of a lump there? I'm going to trim that down and make it a little more round. I like him to be round. And then there it's going to be on his little face, his cute little nose. And again, we're going to just use our glue. Put a little glue on the back of his nose. And stick it right where you think it should go. So cute. All right. Well, on his nose, he needs some little nose holes so he can breathe. So I used buttons. So in your kit, there's 2 little buttons, and they come in different colors. I'm not sure what color you have. In this kit, I've got blue. So we're going to put a little dot of glue right where you want his little nose holes to be. Gloop, gloop. And glue those on right there. And it kind of, I like these buttons. It gives him kind of a new little dimension. So that's going to have a little glue overspill. This glue dries really clear, so you won't even see that later. But get him positioned where you want them. He's looking super cute. And now he's just going to need some eyes. Eyes are easy. We're going to use our marker. If you're feeling really ambitious before you glue him together, you can tie a French knot with embroidery floss. Sometimes I do that, but a lot of times I either use fabric paint or a permanent marker. So we're just going to use a permanent marker. I'm just going to put it down like that and make his cute little eyes. Oops, they're a little wonky. That's okay. He's a little crooked, and I don't mind at all. I think he's cute. Okay, here's where a lot of freedom comes to you to customize. So on this unicorn, we gave him a little rainbow, and I used lots of my different colors. Here's my rainbow pattern. I ended up doing 4 stripes because I wanted to, but I cut them out and layered them. So I cut out the first one, and then I cut out the second one a little smaller, and the next one a little smaller, and I just layered it up. I don't know if you can see how it's all layered there. Oops, I gotta pull it down. It's all layered there. But if you don't want to do a rainbow, you could put a little heart on him. So this one has a little heart. If you wanted to be super creative, you could take some of your other fabric. You could make some wings and give him wings, whatever you want. For this one, I'm going to make a little heart and put it right in the center of his tummy. So I'm going to trace my heart pattern here. You could do a star. You could do a smiley face, whatever you want to make him kind of special for you. So there's our little heart. We're going to cut that little heart out. That sounds terrible, cut out his heart. No, we're just making him have a heart. All right, so there's his heart. Again, there's a lot of ink for my pen on this side, so this is the side I'm going to face forward, and I'm going to put the glue on the inky side and put a little glue on it. Woo, that's a lot of glue. That's okay. We'll just smear it where we need it to be. Okay. And have to decide where I'm going to put it this time. Do I want it to be off to the side? Do I want it to be right in the center? The other side, I think I'm going to put him right in the center this time. All right. So fun. Now I gave you another little button if you want to use it as one of your accessories to make him cute. I could put that little button right there, or I could put it on his horn. I could do whatever I want with it. I also gave you some flowers that you can use if you want to give him a flower in his hair. In this one I gave him a little crown of 3 flowers. I think on this one I'm just going to give him one little flower right here in the crown of his by his horn. So for this, I don't really want this stem, so I'm going to trim that stem off and then leave a little bit that's hiding behind the petals because you want something to glue with. And then put a little dot of glue right there kind of in the center to hold that stem down, and also so that when you can glue it to his little head right there. And there we have our cute little unicorn puppet. I hope you had a lot of fun. I'd love to see these if you want to bring them to the library or send us an email. We'd love to see your unicorn puppets. They're super fun. I'm going to let him dry, so I'm not going to sample him, but for him, I like putting them on 2 fingers because you get a lot more control. When you have them on 1, they're flippy floppy. If you have them on 2, they're so fun. But there's our cute little unicorn, and I hope you had a lot of fun making him. And do whatever you want to make him personal and yours.